Hello and welcome to VRCana, a very special bonus episode. I am your host and Dungeon Master, Danny K. I am joined by two players in this bonus episode, Mendachi
Hi.
and Mr. Green Elite.
Howdy.
All right, so this bonus episode takes place the day after the battle at Burnham Wood, right? If you guys recall, you got into a bit of a scuffle with a giant metal man who murdered Celia in front of your very eyes. And at the end of the fight, you got a very ominous threat from Devious and Chrissy Rain of 3 months. So, literally the day after that, Echo, Handwin, you two are walking through the market in Goldleaf. It's a pretty somber day, but you do know that you can't just mope around. You have to take care of yourself in some way. What are some things that you guys are looking for just kind of at the moment?
Well, Echo would be just, essentially just, lurking around for some supplies, maybe like looking at the flower stands and stuff like that, because he's, trying to find some color in the world.
Yeah. I would say Echo does see a nice bouquet of white and white roses and yellow tulips that may just remind you of Celia a little bit.
Blankly staring into him, he can't bring himself to actually buying them though.
What would Handwin be doing or looking for?
I think that at this time, the powerlessness that he felt, seeing that giant crowd of zealots that were just ready to throw themselves into death, believing that there was some sort of new god ready to deliver them onto a better place, and not being able to reason with them, not being able to stop Celia from dying, not being able to stop the developer from turning Von Trippen into that metal monster. He has to regain some kind of control, something that he can control. Yeah. And so he's going to go around and he's going to try and help as many people as he can with as many tasks as possible, nothing too menial, nothing too monumentous, and just try to gain some control back, because he's having a crisis. A mental crisis.
Yeah, you're having one of those moments where you see someone who is like, they're saying they're low on food or whatever, so you're kind of haggling with an NPC, and someone steps up behind you and passes the gold over to the NPC, and they whisper. Your character speaks Spanish, right?
Yeah.
And they whisper in your ear, "Follow me," in Spanish.
Okay, yeah, I'll fucking sigue then.
Yeah. And by the way, when you turn around, you recognize this person. It is Pally Din.
Ah, okay, good friend Pally Din, though wasn't sure if he was at first, but he seemed like a pretty decent guy. Ended up helping us out quite a bit back with the Black Bull.
Echo, do you follow? Do you question? What do you do?
Well, am I close by enough to hear this? Like,
Uh,
did I hear someone just whisper "Stick me"? Like, did I hear that? Or
Sure. Yeah. I think you would see that Paladin had approached Handwin from behind, whispered in his ear, and Handwin's following him. I think you can probably piece together the rest of...
Well, Echo sees this, and, he's, he doesn't really want to stray far from the group, so he's gonna timidly follow behind, but almost to the point where they can't tell he's following.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just shuffling, keeping distance and keeping an eye on what's going on.
Paladin takes you out of Goldleaf and into a nearby forest. It is still PvE zone, but at this point your levels are high enough that nothing in the Goldleaf vicinity is going to aggro on you. It's a fairly safe area for anyone who is at your level. And I'm gonna go on ahead and make a quick roll, and then I'm gonna want Echo your like a stealth check from you if you want to remain hidden.
I got disadvantage on stealth rolls. Woo!
Pow, pow, pow.
Eight.
Hell yeah, good stuff.
Pew, 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 pew. 8.
I'm on after this. Woo!
Okay, so I had Echo roll a stealth check. You rolled an 8. Paladin rolled a 16, and so he stops abruptly in the forest and says, "Echo, you can just follow. You can join us up here."
I'm
just gonna look back and smile and wave. My passive perception's a 16. But I don't know, like, would you say that like you would have made it known to Hanwin that you were following?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, keeping an eye out.
So I'm just gonna smile and wave at you, and kind of like beckon you over, and then like kind of like Paladin, look back at you and just give like the slightest of like kind of like shrugs, like I don't know what's going on.
Why are we out here?
That's a good question.
Somebody wants to speak with you privately. He's just up ahead. And
More private than DMs, Pally? What gives?
well, see, not everything can be communicated through a DM safely.
I'm gonna look at Arthur and just kind of be like, news to me.
It's kind of unorthodox. Like, we try not to scoop out that we're talking to this person.
What was that again?
Who are we trying to prevent from
Listening
hearing
in?
us talk?
Well, you do know that the devs can read your DMs, right?
Absolute shock and awe on my face. Oh, what?
I don't care.
This person does, just a little bit further, and he continues walking through, and you eventually reach a clearing in the forest, and there stands Loco Coco, the dwarf from your adventures in the desert oasis. He looks at you both, nods to Paladin, and says, "Thank you for coming. I have to admit I'm nervous. I haven't been this nervous in a while."
Echo just like hunches over, like puts his hands on his knees just to like get on his level. What's going on, bud?
Are you gonna patronize the dwarf?
I do that to my wife all the time. So you're aware.
Oh man,
He's
that's great.
He's taken aback by the.
I'm not patronizing. I'm trying to get on his level, trying to make him feel comfortable. Okay, there's a difference.
Okay, real quick, does Handuin say anything?
I'm just gonna sling my quarterstaff across my shoulders, drape my arms over it, kind of like lean off to the side, looking down at this, and kind of going back and forth. And my eyes are literally just going from like Echo to Crazy Chocolate to Paladin, and then like back, and then maybe off to like a little rabbit running around, and then back. I've got nothing but like stars and Tweety birds in my head right now.
So yeah, Echo, as you like bend down to patronize the dwarf and get on his level, his form
Comforting.
His form changes in front of you, and he, in kind of a whirl of like digital artifacts and shadows, the form changes from a dwarf player to a tall, cloaked figure wearing a dog mask.
Stay psych right now. I am in attack mode. I am no longer chilling looking at rabbits. I am getting ready to attack bonus action flurry of blows. Tell me why I shouldn't right the fuck now. So yeah, literally looking at him ready to swing.
And I will also say the name tag above his head changes from Loco Coco to Triple Dog. Now you know the form, but do you guys recognize the name? Would you
Yes.
recognize the name? Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes. Echo remembers fondly of the first encounter in the complicity with the triple dog. So he is a little on the edge. Just like, what did you do with Loco? Where's Loco?
Is that so? That's what Echo says. What did you do, Loco? I did nothing with Loco because I am Loco.
I always pegged the three of you to be fucking liars.
I'm worse than that. I'm worse than a liar. I admit it.
Oh yeah, you're worse than that. You're a fucking killer too.
Swing to attack.
Okay.
I am attacking this dev because we have no reason to believe that they are friendly, other than if they've always been Loco Coco, they did help us in the desert, but to what end? So I'm attacking because he's part of the reason why we're here right now, and he's right next to Echo, and I'm not letting a dev touch my friend when I just watched a dev touch a dude and turn him into a golem. So I'm swinging.
PvP is not turned on, and the
Oh!
the quarterstaff.
You like swing the staff and it just like bounces back on an invisible force field.
Exactly.
1v1 me right now, you coward. You coward.
I deserve that. I deserve a lot
You
worse.
deserve worse. Yes, you do. I'm glad that we're on the even playing field. Now turn on PvP.
Look, Handuin, JB, I didn't come out here. I didn't invite you out here to fight. I'm out here to help, and I want to make you an offer.
That's
I'm
dog
just gonna
shit.
stare at him. Yeah, that's dog shit for sure. Your word is worth less than dog shit.
Should I just start from the beginning?
Do we have a choice?
You can always leave. I won't stop you. Paladin won't stop you.
What is how it like Echo turns to Paladin and is like, were you aware of this? This
He
whole time?
nods. He nods, and he kind of gruffly says, I'm not the only one that knows.
A legion of lapdogs. How nice.
And Triple Dog kind of sighs. I played the game before I joined the team. And I have always had 2 accounts. I can't help that I had friends who played with me. It's not Paladin or Bunksy's fault that they didn't tell you. I told them not to. You guys aren't gonna react to the other name that was just dropped?
Yeah, I'm not entirely certain what to do other than grit my teeth until they shatter. My mind is literally just swirling right now. Not sure who we have interacted with that would be, say, like, not infiltrated by the devs. It makes me feel like we've been running on a hamster wheel or in a rat maze, probably is the more preferable and likely, I guess, allegory.
So he kind of looks down and he like snaps his fingers, and like some chairs and cushions and stuff like that kind of populate the space, and he sits down and let's talk.
Echo stays standing.
Yep, same. I'm going to golf swing one of those fucking chairs out of the way into the woods or apart, whichever one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
It's not the time to chat or sit for that matter.
Yeah, like there's a stool that like just like you like whack it with your quarterstaff and it just shatters. Okay, let's just start with who I am and what I've done wrong and what I'm going to do to help fix it. Is that okay?
Sure, but the PvP flag stays. I mean, there's just a big red PvP flag flying beside me. I can do it. Do it, you chump.
Dual request. Dual request.
Spamming it. Yeah. The flag just keeps falling right next to me. Do it, you won't. I'm just gonna antagonize the DM. Oh, it's fine.
So, I played Cosmos of Conflict before I joined the team. It was what I thought was my dream job. And I, at first, was in love with this job. Creating things for the game that I love, for people who I love. It was, who couldn't ask for anything better? But Cosmos of Conflict has a way of stealing your soul. Ethan Tusk, as a boss, steals your soul. The overtime, the abuse, the not only from Ethan, but players and my colleagues, just years of vitriolic abuse. And I know it's not the reason I got sick, but it didn't help. And I already know that I'm going to die. I'm going to die leaving debt. A lot of debt. But I can't leave this karmic debt unpaid. I want to help you beat Devious and Chrissy. I want to offer you some power that only I can grant and help you get stronger, because I think the 12 fingers are the only ones who can do it.
I don't believe you. I feel like this is some twisted game of yours. You're sitting here talking about how it sucks your soul, and you feel like you have to do this, or you had to do this at the time, but like, you've just trapped hundreds of thousands of people into this game, and a lot of them are innocent people who've never interacted with you ever.
Not only that, but a bunch of them have already died. You're a murderer, like hundreds of times over. And more speaking on that, like, there's so many of us, Echo and myself included, our lifeless bodies are comatose in some hospital somewhere. No one knows really what's going on. Like, give us some answers, man.
I can tell you that each of your bodies have been placed in care facilities. I can tell you, while I went along, I did not engineer the plan. I am remorseful beyond belief. I am working not only in here to get you all free, but I am working on the outside. But before anything can happen on the outside, I need to make sure that some sort of contingency is placed on the inside. You are my contingency.
So, Triple Dog, you said this illness that you have, it'll kill you?
Eventually. My treatment only prolongs my life and offers some comfort. But eventually, it will kill me. Whether that's in the comfort of the outside world, or if that's in a prison cell. And either is fine.
A thing or two about sickness. Yeah. You know what's truly sick? Is painting this mask that you are somehow trying to fulfill some karmic, retribution for yourself to make yourself feel better. But at the end of the day, complacency to murder is murder. I don't believe that you're here to actually like help us. This has to be some sort of trick.
It's literally been every time we've dealt with either of the developers, the other two developers on your team have literally been in places in which they wished us to die or everyone else in the game to die. They issued us a challenge that they never wanted us to complete, a challenge that they don't plan on us ever getting to. They've tried to thwart us at every passage, and now they have some weird cult following within the game that believe that they're gods. Triple Dog, what Echo said so eloquently is so true, but why not you? You could be a god, dying or not. Why the fuck should we believe anything that you have to tell us?
Because I have had the opportunity in the desert to let you all die. I could have turned coat. I could have set you up to fail. And I didn't. I could have easily turned on the PvP flag and incinerated you right here in the woods. In fact, I wouldn't even have to turn on my flag. I would just override any protections you have and annihilate you with a string of commands. I am here genuinely to offer you more resources. If you guys want, you can like insight check him.
Yeah, I would love to. If I can get my hand underneath my cat so that I can get to my character sheet.
I got a 17. Boop, boop, boop.
Let's see here. Ugh. Oh, that was almost a 23. I got a 13. My base is a 16. Nice.
Okay. So, yeah, neither of you... everything he says seems genuine.
Right.
Nothing, like, he's not, like... He's not shifting around or anything like that. Really, he is just sitting and, like, staring you both in the eyes. Or at least you think, because he's wearing a dog mask.
What resources are you trying to get us to take from you? What could you possibly give us that's going to help us stop two powerful, all-knowing devs in this game? Why can't you stop them yourself, by the way? Why do you need us?
To answer that question is, I am trying to stop them. I am working with police to locate them. They did a very good job of hiding and securing themselves after they trapped everyone. In terms of what I can offer, I want to offer some specialty developer only abilities, some extra power, and some character optimization. Handuin, JB, I'd like to offer you some special access to a unreleased class in the game, that being the Warlock. And Echo, if you would like to respec, I can respec your character and allow you to optimize your abilities.
Kind of sounds like what you and Bolivar and Damu did for Luis. Do you think we can trust this guy?
No,
Neither do I. It sounds shady as fuck. It sounds so shady. He does have a point, though. He had every chance to destroy us in the desert, but Was he just playing chess with us? And I'm just saying this out loud. He's literally right there. And I'm just like side-eyeing him and then looking back at Echo and then looking at him to just see any reaction. I know his face is masked, but like PvP flag still there.
Yeah, and I will say, like, he doesn't like, his body doesn't shift. He doesn't visibly react to the things you're saying. He's keeping his hands, he's keeping his hand close to his chest. His body language is very, very tight.
So yeah, what are your insights on all of this, Echo? What do you think?
Doesn't sound like power to me. It sounds like chains.
We've already got plenty of those. I am curious, however, Triple Dog. I want you to tell me if you understand two things. And I want to know if they're related.
Okay.
And I'm going to stand away from everyone because if you're close to me, then a big, crazy digital explosion happens. So I'm going to stand away from everyone and activate both the arms of Astral Self. So there's like a big, like, kind of artifacting of all of the digital assets around me, and then all of a sudden, like, these strange kind of digitized glitching arms that are like these big, I'm gonna say probably this time something along the lines of like big ol' Cyclops hands. Like, they're all rugged and, you know, look stony and scraped up, and there's only like 3 fingers and like a thumb. And there's just like these, you know, massive arms that are essentially on either side of my arms. And then I'm going to go ahead and activate the visage of Astral Self. And all of a sudden there's just like we're gonna go like mega anime. I want there to be like giant anime, like sharp sunglasses that come off of my eyes. And what these allow me to do is that like it basically turns off all darkness, magical and non-magical. And then it gives me advantage on insight and intimidation checks. And then when I speak, I can direct my words to a creature of my choice that I can see within 60 feet of me, making it so only that creature can hear you. And alternatively, I can amplify my voice so that all creatures within 600 feet can hear you. So I'm going to amplify my voice and just like this very strange, ethereal, like just messed up audio breaking, just why should we believe you? And just like these big ass arms kind of like reaching out and like cracking their knuckles at him while I look like some weird goofy version of Kamina from Gurren Lagann. And I'm just gonna like stare at him, and then in a normal voice, this and also what happened yesterday, what happened to Von Trippen when one of your colleagues turned him into a monster. Are these related? Is that the power that you're trying to give us to turn us into monsters?
Yeah, the odd arm thing you have going on. I think you know by now that that's not a normal part of the game.
You don't say.
Yeah. You have a very old account. And when you have old accounts with different characters, sometimes the abilities of characters gets muddled up. You are in some ways a bit of a Franken character. You are able to draw on past characters that you've built. All the temporary level 1s and high end game characters, you can just sort of draw on them. Does that make sense?
It does, until I look at these giant Cyclops arms that I have, and when we were fighting Von Trippen, I had the arms of a dragon. A dragon that I know that I fought before as well, but that was last season. It started out and it looked like it was just shifting arms of player models, but it feels like it's changing, getting out of hand. I had to. You know I had to do it to him.
I'm just real quick. You're gonna get inspiration for the pun. Next session, you get inspiration. Go ahead. And
Of course, I should have known that Daddy Danny would give me the dad pun inspo. Perfect.
that is
Not the inspo. Don't reward this behavior.
Right? This is maidenless behavior.
I will do a little further digging as to why you are able to draw on other character avatars in the game. It was never meant to just happen like that. It was a bug that was known, but I suppose you've probably reached the character limit, so to speak. In terms of what happened to Von Trippen, that was a very insidious plan from Devious. No, you are not in danger of becoming anything like Von Trippen. That was 100% devised and developed especially for Von Trippen. Von Trippen and Devious had a odd relationship. One might say it was one-sided. And Devious knew that. So, no, you don't have to worry about becoming a monster.
Well, that's a relief, and I'm gonna clap the hands. They'll disappear along with my ridiculous anime sunglasses.
So, here's what I'm offering both of you. I can give you access to the Warlock subclass. It hasn't been released. That was a next season plan. But if I give you access, you should have an extra boost to your power. What do you say?
I'm gonna look at Echo tentatively and just
Echo
kind of like biting my lip.
Don't do this. Don't do this.
I'm gonna take a step forward. What kind of power are we talking?
Extra spells, extra... You get a direct link to me, especially now that you know who I am and my aliases. You get extra abilities to go along with it as well.
Game-breaking abilities, something that would put me on the level of the other developers.
It would put you above Drake the Purple, Dogma, Celia. It would get you...
Don't you say her name?
It would get you a lot closer to beating the developers.
I'm definitely deep in thought, and my fists are clenched right now. Just holding onto my quarterstaff, and you can hear the muscles just just kind of rounding on the wood, so I could stop what happened yesterday from happening again. Is that what you're saying?
You'd be able to stop a lot of things from happening. Yes.
I'm gonna look at Echo really mournfully, and I'll do it.
Echo grabs like his shoulder and like almost like a whisper of, Anduin, I trust you, but just remember, chains, not power. And then he lets him go.
And I'm gonna look at you and nod. If it takes me in chains to helping our friends and everyone else, I'll gladly wear them. I'll take your bargain.
And Triple Dog holds out his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And, in a form to obviously shake your hand.
And I'll make a deal with the devil. I'll shake his hand.
Yeah, and as you like grab his hand, before when he like shapeshifted, it was all artifacty and digitized and like shadowy and stuff like that, and kind of the same thing happens as like a whirl of digital artifacts kind of sweep around his body and around his shoulder and down his arm around your hand. And the next time you open up your your character sheet, your character build, you'll see that a option for Warlock is available. And once that's done, he holds his hand out to Echo. And what about you, Echo?
Echo just he stands there, almost slumping for a moment, and straightens up a little bit, and looks at him in the eyes and says, "I've been for a long time before I found my hideout, my oasis of being on the internet, playing games, just escaping. I've always had to deal with being a monster, being called a monster. I can't be complacent with one. I won't be remembered like this. I can't." And he just steps back.
He lowers his hand and says, "I understand." And he looks up, kind of past you over to Paladin, and nods his head, and Paladin comes up and holds out a coin to you. And Triple Dog says, "This is no strings attached. If you look at it, you can inspect it. This is a moderator tool. It's a respect coin for players who need a little extra hand. Maybe they messed up their character builds. If you'd like to optimize yourself, take the respect coin for free."
Echo takes it from Paladin, but kind of holds Paladin's hand as he looks at Triple Dog and says, "You're kind of like me. I don't get forgiven." And then takes the coin and starts walking off into the woods.
All right. Does Handuin have any parting words?
I think, he's sitting there and he's thinking, and he's not entirely certain exactly the domain in which he's made this bargain, the extent of which it might even make it harder for him to exit the game if they are able to beat the developers in this, kind of twisted idea of a tournament that they've got. What he'll be once it's over. His in-game self has already been kind of busted. More so than most. And what he's just done is kind of capitalized on it. So I think he's kind of worried about that. And he's gonna have to reconcile. But that'll have to wait until he makes sure that everyone is safe. He has to make sure that this deal wasn't made in vain. So he's, I think, just going to wordlessly walk back while still having that kind of choice of specking into Warlock kind of up in his HUD. Just like the little exclamation point with the level up next to it. And he's just gonna walk back next to Echo and He's definitely not going to say anything unless Echo actually says something. But yeah, his mind is I figured it's just a torrent of thoughts.
I think Echo looks at Handwin and then just like I need to do something on my own for a moment. And he like walks off into another portion of like the woods, finds like this clearing of like almost like a meadow with some flowers and stuff like that. And has the coin in his hand, looks it over, flips it over a few times, flips it in the air, right? Comes down in his hand, and all Handwin hears from where he is a crack of thunder. That's it for Echo.
Okay. I think that's the perfect place to stop. You guys agree?
I agree. Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been a very interesting, fun, and morally ambiguous episode of VRCana. I am your host and Dungeon Master Danny K, joined by my players Mr. Green Elite.
Howdy.
And Mendachi. Our
I
character
refuse to say that I've made a mistake.
Our character art is done by the lovely and talented Jezza Rose. Go check her out on Twitter. Go commission her. She does great work. Seriously. Do it. Go commission her.
Do it.
All of the art is generated by Wombo and Midjourney. Sounds provided by SyrinScape and Zapsplat. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode, and we'll see you in the next one.